Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to take a closer look at some recent news affecting various semiconductor companies. We're going to take a closer look at companies like AMD, TSMC, Intel, Nvidia, and even Google. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So the first report that I have came out about a day ago. There are reports that AMD is trying to secure chip on wafer on substrate packaging capacity at TSMC. So for those that are not familiar and have not watched any of my other videos, right now we're seeing this huge demand for AI chips, right? We've seen Nvidia with the H100 and their A100. And one of the process to create these AI chips is called advanced packaging. And TSMC is one of the players that does this advanced packaging, and the advanced packaging that is needed to create some of these AI chips is called chip on wafer on substrate packaging. And unfortunately, right now, there is too much demand to keep up with the amount of capacity that TSMC has. So even Nvidia is kind of looking for, maybe sometimes looking for other places to kind of get more capacity here with advanced packaging. So it does seem like at the moment, AMD is also trying to go to TSMC and say, hey, look, I know Nvidia is probably buying out a lot of your advanced packaging capacity, but we need this as well. So they're trying to secure some of that packaging capacity, especially as they are coming up with some new cool products later this year. And right now, right, their server CPUs, and more importantly, later this year, the MI300 and the MI300X and the different flavors is going to need a lot of this advanced packaging. So I think that's very important to see, and we're going to definitely make sure to follow this along and to see how AMD does in the future to kind of grab some of this packaging capacity. The second news, it does kind of affect TSMC as well. It's Google. Google, the big tech giant, they do create their own chips, and they are creating their own customized tensor chips for their Google phones. And they have reportedly gone to TSMC to start production in 2025. This is pretty interesting because Google, I believe most of their chips have been made through Samsung in the past, but as they continue to probably get into higher volume wise and more advanced chips, they're starting to go to TSMC instead. So I do believe this kind of just shows the strength that TSMC has, and also how even though there is a second player, right? Samsung is the second player in chip manufacturing. The big players tend to always go to TSMC. So that's a big win for Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing. Now, the next, again, continues here with, this is more general in semiconductor market. If you guys have been following the channel, a few days ago, I did mention that China there were talks that China is going to restrict two rare metals that are used in semiconductor manufacturing. One of them was gallium and the other one was germanium. And in that kind of video, I discussed that maybe it's not that kind of big deal, and we are hearing from major foundries. Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing has kind of shrugged it off as a minor inconvenience. Their spokesperson stated that after evaluation, they do not expect the export restrictions on raw material gallium and germanium will have any direct impact on TSMC's production, but they will continue to monitor the situation closely. And it does seem like right now, if something happens, it seems like you can procure gallium and germanium from suppliers located in Germany, Japan, and North America. Even though these are rare metals, they could be found all over the world, so nothing too crazy. So I think that's another kind of bullish note to kind of keep up with the semiconductor market. Now let's take a closer look at another TSMC news. TSMC supposedly has been hit by a cyber attack. TSMC and the cyber attack, they're demanding roughly $70 million of ransom to kind of get back all the information. Right now, it doesn't seem like TSMC is worried, and the reason they got hacked, it kind of falls on some IT hardware supplier. The IT hardware supplier is saying that, hey, look, there's nothing really crazy that they have from TSMC, so it's nothing to be really worried about. But again, this is something we're probably going to have to kind of keep an eye out for later episodes. At the same time, personally, I'm not worried about this, especially if of any big players having any of their data stolen. But again, this is something to keep in mind now and to kind of keep a closer eye on in the upcoming weeks. I do want to take a closer look at Intel, but before we go any further, if you guys are enjoying the episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you want to know more about the semiconductor market, make sure to join the membership and just hit join right here. Finally, so the next topic I want to take a closer look at is on Intel. So earlier last week, I don't believe I did a video on this, but Intel had paused some shipments of some of their fourth generation Xeon Sapphire Rapids. So remember, when a lot of these companies create all these products, they create numerous different SKUs, right? Numerous different flavors of that product. One of those products or one of those flavors was having to have some form of bug. So because of the bug, Intel decided to pause shipment, which is pretty interesting for that section. It does seem like the company has kind of fixed the issues, or they're kind of talking to Tom's Hardware, indicating that the development of a firmware fix has happened and they are resuming shipments. So that's great news for Intel. And it kind of showcased that the company is able to kind of react pretty quickly. Now, the final two topics I have are with my favorite semiconductor company. You guys know this, Nvidia. So this one's pretty interesting, right? So on July 5th, XPeng, which is a huge, I believe, Chinese car player, but they are expanding globally, unleashes the G6 Coupe SUV for mainstream market. So it's pretty cool, right? The car industry, but what's more importantly is this new EV is powered by Nvidia Drive and is also using Nvidia's system on chips hardware. So it's using Nvidia software and Nvidia's hardware solutions to kind of feature intelligent and advanced driving capabilities, as well as increase safety situations. So if we take a closer look, China electric vehicle market XPeng Motors have announced its new G6 Coupe SUV featuring an NVIDIA-powered intelligent advanced driver assistance system and is now available to the China market. The GC model comes with two NVIDIA Drive Orens, and for those that are not familiar, this is their chip that is being used on the automotive market. I'm very bullish in the automotive space. If you guys have been watching some of my previous videos of NVIDIA, I definitely believe that robotics and automotive is another huge grower outside of AI. And they do mention that these chips do provide a high performance compute for real-time processing of data streaming in from the vehicle's 31 driving sensors. XPeng does predict that this latest model will become the top-selling electric SUV in the country. And they don't say they have automated driving or autonomous driving, but they do mention that they have point-to-point automated cruise assistant, where the drivers need to only set the destination and monitor the traffic conditions with hands resting on the steering wheel, while the vehicle takes the wheel, performing a host of scenario-based actions, including cruising on main urban roads, autonomously changing lanes, congestion avoidance, emergency braking, on and off-ramp driving, highway driving, parking, and more. And they are planning to kind of take the G6 to roll out to key European markets by next year. And XPeng is designed the state-of-the-art coupe SUV to meet both CNAP and ENCAP safety standards. So overall, we can definitely see how this is probably just the early ages of NVIDIA and their automotive market. And I do believe we're going to continue to see more cars in the road within this year and next year that are going to be using both NVIDIA's software solutions and NVIDIA's hardware solution. So that's all I have here for semiconductor news at the end of this week. I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to hit the subscribe. Take care. Have a good day and see you next time.